Good morning, students. Once again, I welcome you to my video lecture class on signals and systems. Now, next topic is in block diagrams, there are two forms. They are called popular forms, direct form 1 and direct form 2. Direct form 1 we shall concentrate. So, by taking direct form 1, you can get, by making suitable alterations, you can get direct form 2. So you are given a difference equation y of n minus half y of n minus 1 equal to 2 times xn. So here you find only xn, no shift for input. And in other problems there may be shift for this x of n. So how to write direct form 1? To write direct form 1, first on the left hand side, retain only yn, retain only yn, and the rest of the terms are to be transferred to the right hand side. And before transferring to the right hand side, so what you will find on the right hand side? Xn and it shifts. So here there is one and only one term. In other problems there might be 2, 3, 4 terms. We have to call these terms as w of n. So first you call the terms on the right hand side as wn signal, which is equal to 2x of n. And one more care you have to take before starting, you make sure that the coefficient of y is 1. Coefficient of yn is 1. If the coefficient of yn is not n, if you find any coefficient here, for example 4, then you divide throughout by 4 and make it 1. Make it 1. But in this problem, the coefficient of yn is 1. Now I have called the terms on the right hand side as w of n, and w of n is equal to 2x of n. Call this as equation number 1. Next, retain y of n and shift the other terms to the right hand side. We get y of n is equal to, this is already named as w of n plus half of y of n minus 1. This is equation number 2. This is equation number 2. Based on these two equations, we have to construct block diagram. So block diagram, first equation 1. So what is w of n? W of n is a signal, and here there is only x of n. So x of n signal is here, and w of n is 2 times. If other terms are there, x of n minus 1, we have to introduce what is called as shift element. Otherwise, one and only term. So 2 times x of n. Okay, this is implementation of w of n. So here I will show the block diagram x of n given to a subsystem. This is subsystem 1 and this is w of n. Now problem is not over. So this is what is called as subsystem 1, where we have generated w of n. Now you construct a block diagram for the second equation. So y of n is here, signal. So in the block diagram, on one side you will find x of n, on the other side you will find y of n. Therefore mark y of n. What is y of n? Y of n is summation of these two, that is wn w of n plus, so here I will write the summer. Here I will write the summer. This is w of n and y of n minus 1. So y of n minus 1 means a shift of 1 unit. Shift of 1 unit, that is y of n minus 1. So y of n minus 1 is coming here, and It is getting multiplied with plus half. It is getting multiplied with plus half, and then it is given. And then it is given. The summation of these two will give you y of n. So first y of n, this is y of n, w of n here, y of n minus 1. So from y of n we have to generate this is y of n minus 1. Shift of 1 unit. Then y of n minus 1 is multiplied with plus half, and it comes here, the summation. This is what is called as direct form 1. Direct form 1. So here, now this is one block. This is one block. Now here I will write. So first x of n, then subsystem 1. Subsystem 1. Here we are generating w of n. This is subsystem 2. Subsystem 2. And we are generating y of n. So this is called as subsystem 2. This is called as subsystem 1. So subsystem 1 and subsystem 2 are in the form of a chain connection. It is what is called as cascade connection. So they are like this. So output of one is given as input of the other. That is what is known as chain connection. And this is the system. This is how we generate, we implement what is called as direct form 1. So you have to very well remember this block diagram, because I will going to make use of this block diagram for the implementation of direct form 2. Now I will proceed. Now I will implement direct form 2 from direct form 1. So what is the procedure? The procedure is very simple. Refer to this block diagram. You interchange the blocks. That means in place of subsystem 1, you put subsystem 2, and in the position of subsystem 2, you place subsystem 1. So there will be interchange of signals. So that is very important. Now I will draw implementation. The implementation is, now this is subsystem 2 and this is subsystem 1. Subsystem 1 and this is y of n. This is y of n and this is x of n. Y x of n. And here the intermediate signal I will call it as f of n. Now you have altered the positions of subsystem 1 and subsystem 2, but signals are to be interchanged. So carefully you have to do interchanging. Now first you look into subsystem 2. Earlier subsystem 2 was here. What was the input? The input was w of n and the output was y of n. Now subsystem 2 has occupied this position. Now what is the change? For subsystem 2 has come over here and now it is receiving x of n and producing f of n. Now what I will do is, in the earlier form, this was the equation for subsystem 2. This was the equation for subsystem 2. That is, y of n equal to w of n plus half y of n minus 1. Now the position has been altered. Now subsystem 2 has come over here. What will you write for y of n? What will you write for y of n? Now earlier it was here, y of n is here. Now its position has been changed. Now this position is being taken up by f of n. So what should I write for y of n? For y of n, I have to write f of n. for y of n. So earlier y of n was here. Now it has occupied a position here, and in its place there is f of n. Therefore, yn is to be replaced by f of n. f of n equals next wn was incoming signal for subsystem 2. Now subsystem 2, the input is x of n. Therefore, what will you write for w of n? W of n place I have to write x of n. X of n. Here you write x of n plus half. And for y of n we wrote f of n. Therefore, y of n minus 1, it is f of n minus 1. So this is one of the equation for implementing direct form 2. Okay, so this is one important equation. Now I will come to subsystem 1. So first, earlier subsystem 1 was here, receiving x as input and producing wn as output. Now its position has been changed. Now it has occupied subsystem 2 position here and producing the output. So what will you write? In place of wn, I have to write y of n. And in place of x of n, I must write f of n, because its position has been changed. Now I will write wn place, take this equation. In place of wn, you write y of n. Y of n is equal to 2 times x of n. Here it was x of n here. Now it has been f of n. Therefore, 2 times f of n. So these are the two equations which are required for constructing the direct form 2. Now the direct form 2 is implemented using these two equations. First on one side you write x of n, and on the other side you write y of n. Now first f of n. F of n is 1 times x of n and half of times f of n minus 1. So if you call this as f of n, if you call this signal as f of n, so introduce a shift element. This is f of n minus 1. Then multiplying with a scalar multiplier half, then give it to a summer x of n plus half of f of n minus 1, and the summation will give you f of n. After writing f of n, you have to implement this. That is y of n is equal to 2 times f of n. That is, here you write y of n and take this signal scalar multiplier to 2. So this is 2 times fn. That gives you what is called as y of n. So this is what is called as direct form. Okay, thank you.